Hi, everybody. Welcome to this week's Ask Mama Amy Families, Kids. Today we'll talk about Kids Protection Plan in 10 easy steps. So first off, why do we even need to think about Kids Protection Plan? The thing is, if I die or if something happens to me and if my spouse is not here, then who is that person to be able to make decisions and care for our children? The default in the law is a legal guardian. Now, instead of having the judge decide one for you, you can actually nominate a legal guardian to take care of your children if something were to happen to you. So here are my quick, easy steps for you to go ahead and get that started and nominated. Step number one is you want to brainstorm and just make a list of all the people that you would consider. Now, it is hard to come up with someone that you fully trust your children with. So if you are with a partner, I would highly encourage you to brainstorm on your own. Don't look at each other's answers just yet. Just brainstorm and freely brainstorm and think about, okay, who would I want my children and where would I want them to be? Who would I want to them to be raised by? Second, you want to focus on the value and criteria. And instead of focusing only on money, you actually want to look at this person's value and criteria and see if they have similar parenting philosophies as you do, similar work ethics, things like that. You want to focus on that. And step number three is to rank based on the criteria and the values. And you want to come up with a list of 3 people. Then you can compare and then see, okay, if you can agree to the top 3 persons that you want to be caring for your children. Step number 4 is so important, is to legally document your choice. So you want to put it in writing and say, it's usually called a guardian nomination. So you want to put it in writing and say who exactly you want to have that legal authority to care for your children if you're not here. Step number 5, you do want to give all the guardians instructions on how you would want them to raise your children. So if you have kids, if you have family members that are out of state, out of country even, then you may want to talk to them. Okay, do you want your children to stay, wherever you are at, or go to their state or their country? So, and also, if you want them to go to private school, make sure you have the resources available for them to do that. And what type of extracurricular activities do you want your kids to be in? Some people really value, for example, just soccer or art, whatever it is that you want your children to be involved in. Step number 6 is the emergency ID card. You want to make sure that there is an emergency ID contact card in your wallets. So if something were to happen to you, that the people know who to call immediately, so that there will be people coming to pick up your kids or to be with your kids first time, right? While waiting for the long-term people to arrive. Number 7 is you want to tell your guardians where your documents are and give specific instructions about the values and the insights, the stories, and the experiences you want to pass on to your children, so that they know how to access those legal documents. They know, how to pass on your legacy to your children so that they can remember you better. Number 8 is if you want to exclude anybody who you do not want to be your kids' guardians. Sometimes, depending on the family dynamics, we sometimes have, the crazy aunt or the uncle who's alcoholic or drug addict, things like that, like crazy dynamics, right? You don't want those people, even though they're biologically related to you, you may or may not want them to be your kid's guardian. So if you have those, you want to make sure to document that, and we'll put it in a confidential document so that the judge will actually see it without anybody else seeing it, and the judge can honor your wishes. Number 9 is healthcare agent for your children. So you want to make sure that the guardians that you name will have the ability to make healthcare decisions, take your kids to the doctors, to the hospitals if they need be. And number 10 is to remember to plan for your money. Money is so important. Without money, you can't do any of the extracurricular activities or any of that, right? So how do we maximize your wealth and protect as much of it as possible within your family avoid probate court so none of the family assets have to go to court. That's going to be another video. You can check out my video on how to avoid probate. But the top, so here you go, I've offered you the 10 easy steps on how to come up with a guardian and name guardian for your children. Here is our kids protection plan in 10 easy steps. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week.